Alrighty, yo guys, Beast, back with some more beastly content. Today, I'm going to be doing a video over Ghoul Re Birth versus Ghoul Re Invoke. So, first things first, they're basically the same thing. There's only a couple perks, and I guess I'm gonna get on the perks of the Invoke version, which is basically just the Japanese version of Global. It's also the original version. So, first things first is, whenever a new unit comes out, it will come out first on Invoke. 99% of the time, at least summonable units wise. Dispatch units and everything else seem to come out around the same time, but anything festival unit wise will always come out on Invoke first. Sometimes you will get events sooner than how Global gets them. Like, for instance, Clown Raids are coming to Global soon enough, but we didn't get them instantly. JP got them. Ultimate challenges come along with festival units, so if that festival unit's not out, we won't have an ultimate challenge. However, Global should be getting one next Territory Wars because Centipede Kaneki is out right now as of the time of making this video. And another thing to think about is the event that actually did come like right beside each other, and that is the Thanksgiving event. So this event came out on both versions at the same time. It's called Thanksgiving Special or Thanksgiving Day Special Quest on Global, and I think it's like 300 mil download celebration event on JP. I don't know exactly what it says. All I know is there's a 300 on it, but it's the exact same quest, and it came out right beside each other. Also, free-to-play unit-wise, JP gets the free-to-play units first as well. For the most part, though, I do believe we're probably going to end up with some free-to-play units that release at around the same time on Global versus JP, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and go into the pros and cons and just comparing each on part by part. So, first things first, quality of life updates on JP version, which is Invoke, versus the Global version, are basically the exact same time. When the download all button came out, the ×2 button came out, and everything else came out on Invoke, it was like a day later, Global got it, and then after that, it just seems like we're getting the updates at the exact same time. So anything quality of life based, we should just instantly get on Global. There's no real difference there. The next thing is rates and banners. So, now, some people claim that JP has better rates. I don't really believe that. I think maybe some of the current banners on JP have better rates than the banners we have on Global, but we're really just kind of getting into the releases on Global. Centipede Kaneki, when he released on JP, had a 30% chance of getting him on the 7th multi, and he has that on the Global version. Now, some of the banners we've had, I do believe it was like Juzo and Kaneki on JP. That was the banner that released for the Juzo and Kaneki. On English version, we got Juzo and Yomori, and then of course we also got a Arima and Half Crazed Kaneki. And it's just kind of weird. Banners don't release exactly like they release on JP. However, that's not always the worst thing in the world, because if you know a specific unit that's on JP, like let's say Black Reaper for instance, there are people on Rebirth that can just sit here and save all their Kaku up for the beautiful thing called Black Reaper Kaneki. So I think I really like how banners are releasing on Rebirth. I don't mind it at all. I think it's really nice to be able to know what's coming, so you can debate on, should I just save for this? Because everything that releases so far on Rebirth will end up being on a future banner anyway, and it's not going to matter too much. If you pay to play though, I see how it can get frustrating, because you just wanted the exact same banners to release the exact same way from the JP version to Rebirth, and if you're paying to play, you might as well play with the latest units, but if you're free to play, you're going to have to wait a bit anyway, so I'd honestly just suggest playing. I'm not going to suggest playing just one or the other, because you can play both, by the way. I have a video over that, link below. But Rebirth, you know what's coming. So Black Reaper's coming, we have Takizawa coming, we have this new Yuri coming, we have Kaya and Devil Ape coming, which we already know the stats for, we know everything about them, and we know that they're not that crazy. You should probably skip the banner. Now that the Yuri banner has released on Global, or on JP, we see that Takizawa is actually on that banner, so on Global, you may not summon on Takizawa's banner, you may wait till Yuri's banner drops, and then maybe also pull a Takizawa while you're going for the Yuri. It's just those little things where you can just save longer on Global. I think that's the nice thing about Global. Now, the nice thing about JP, of course, is the instant unit releases. It's yours. You can go summon for it. But at the same time, if you don't have the Kaku for it, you're still stuck waiting maybe a month, maybe 2, especially if it's someone like Black Reaper. If you don't have the Kaku during Black Reaper's release on JP, like, or if you were playing JP during then, you're gonna have to wait quite a while, because we do not know when Black Reaper's banner is coming back, and he has not been on any other Fez banner so far. But anyway, I suppose on to the next thing, which is free to playable, and both of them are definitely very, very free to playable. There's all sorts of ways of getting Kaku for free. You don't have to top up to get it, but at the same time, this goes back to knowing what's coming on Rebirth versus just stuff dropping on Invoke and you'd be like, should I actually summon? Like, for instance, on Invoke, I'm gonna mention a very specific thing. So, Takizawa's banner dropped, everyone dropped Kaku in there, they summoned for it. So then, Kaya and Devil Ape's banner comes along, right next. There's no Takizawa in it, so it's like, okay, Takizawa's gonna be an exclusive unit. So, those that did drop Kaku into Takizawa's banner, they don't feel so bad. Then, after Kaya and Devil Ape, which is, by the way, a bad banner to summon on, and you may not know that, because you may not actually know their stats until you actually go look it up, and it can take a few days sometimes. I use the Tokyo Ghoul Games Discord chat for it, and sometimes it takes a couple days for these units to have their skills and everything translated on there, and until then you're kind of in the dark. You can do a rough translate with Google Translate, but it's not always correct, and you could end up summoning on Kaya and Devil Ape even though you're free to play, and you may get some good pulls on there. Then a Yuri banner drops, which just dropped on JP by the way, that has Takizawa in it. It doesn't have Devil Ape or Kaya, so it kind of reinforces like the, oh, if you waited and didn't summon on Kaya or Devil Ape, who knows when their banner will be back, or if they'll be on other banners. It's nicer to play Rebirth as a free-to-play and know what's coming, and just be like, well, I don't have to worry about summoning on that unit, because it'll be back relatively soon, or I better summon for that unit because it won't be on another banner forever, or if at all, and it may just be on its own exclusive banner. That's like Black Reaper, and yeah. But anyway, on to the next thing. I don't want to talk about free-to-plays all day. However, I do kind of think you have a better deal if you are playing Rebirth as a free-to-play, if you are willing to save. If you're a free-to-play who likes to summon every single banner, it really does not matter the version you play. But on to the next thing is, I think I already covered this. It's like units and releases. Yeah, I already covered that basically, but JP does get the units sooner, but Rebirth knows what units are coming a lot longer and are able to save for it. And yeah, the next thing I suppose is overall, like I said, doesn't really matter too much. If you're a free to play and you're willing to save, I'd still say Rebirth's the better choice, but I'm not saying you should only play one version. You could play both versions relatively easy. Now, some people are like, wow, that's so much work, Beast. Not really. Like, once you have the story farmed up on this game, once you have your units upgraded, and once you get just basically it's like one free-to-play released every territory wars and every warm-up, there's like one free-to-play character released. I do believe we have some free-to-play events that just rotate back in, that if you didn't get done, you can get done. That gives you some Kaku, that gives you everything else. So, you can very well play both versions. Now, if you have any issues installing both versions on the same device, video link down below. But like I said, Rebirth is definitely more for free-to-play people. Invoke is still free-to-playable, still very free-to-playable. But if you're gonna pay to play, you might as well be playing on the version that has the latest units, even if you're sacrificing the English qualities. And that is the other thing. I'm gonna list off both versions' perks real quick. So, I think I already listed off the JP version, so I'm gonna just recap on that. Sometimes you'll get events faster, you will always get festival units faster. Now, Global's perks is, you know what's coming early, ahead of time, and you can save based upon that. You will also be playing in English. Also, another con of JP. Now, this is a questionable con because it could just be net-based, or it could be legit that JP has worse load screens than Global. So, I've heard from people, and I've thought this myself, but the Rebirth/Global version of the game seems to load faster for me than Invoke does, and I don't know if that's because it's a global version of the game, maybe the servers are hosted closer to me, maybe I have a better connection because Rebirth has, you know, maybe Rebirth servers are just closer to me. I have a better connection because it is a global server and I am playing in America, so I'm not completely sure on that, but some people do say that Invoke just has terribly long load screens for them, even when they download all. Sometimes I do experience really bad load screens on Invoke. However, I'm not sure if that's just an invoke problem. You can still experience bad load screens on Rebirth. So, overall, which one should you play? Well, if you have the time, or if you really like the game, I would honestly, I don't want to suggest playing both, because that can be a handful. If you have to choose one, and you are going to be paying to play anyway, and you don't care if it's not in English, and yeah, I definitely say Invoke exists. It has the unit sooner. It's probably the one you want to play, but if you don't care about getting the unit sooner, and you're slightly pay to play, or you just want to play both versions, play both, or just play Rebirth. Does not really matter. The only difference is really, when it comes down to it all, units releasing sooner on the Invoke version than on the Rebirth version. But if you're free to play it, once again, I'd kind of suggest Rebirth. But yeah, I do believe that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode. I'm out. See us. Once again, doesn't really matter. However, Invoke does get units sooner, but Rebirth does know what's coming for a lot longer of time and has more time to prepare for it. But I'm out for now. See us.